What's up, home group? We had a great Sunday for Double Dog Weekend 2023, which is an awesome time of fun and awesome prizes given out. But you know what we decided? We don't want the fun of Double Dog Weekend to stop just yet. And so in home groups, we're going to challenge you guys with 2 more dares that you're going to submit, and the link provided in order to compete in the PTSM team is going to pick our winners and announce them on our PTSM Instagram page as well. So here you are, your 2 new dares. You ready? The first one is this. It's a test of your group strength. We want to see what is the heaviest object that your group can hold up, but only using your toes. Yes, that's right, only using your toes. We want to see what the biggest object, the heaviest object your group can hold up is going to be. You might want to check with the host home first before rearranging any furniture. So that's dare 1. Dare number 2 is we want to see who can create the biggest, most magnificent frozen Waffle House that you can. You guys already have supplies in your freezers at home, and whichever team makes the biggest, the best, the most marvelous frozen Waffle House is going to be the winners. And so PTSM team is going to pick them. We'll announce them on our Instagram page as well, so stay tuned for that. But we want you to go ahead and do this. We want you to go ahead and pause this video, go do these dares, and then come back for the rest of the video. All right, so we are in this series called The Thief of Everything, which is all about comparison. And we know comparison really takes one of 2 forms. Either you're comparing qualities about yourself against somebody else, like they're funnier than I am, they're smarter than I am, they're more athletic than I am, or we're comparing what we have or don't have measured up to what that other person does have. The newer iPhone, the nicer car, the spot on the team that you really want. And we've talked about already how comparison can be such a harmful and bad thing. And another aspect as to why that is because comparison a lot of times leads to worry. And so think about this for a second. A lot of you guys have your license, or you're getting ready to get your license. That car is just around the corner for many of you, right? And so maybe some of you, though, you don't have your own car like some of your friends do, or your friends are starting to get the car that they're going to get when they get their license, but you know that there's not a car in your future, and you begin to compare what you don't have a car versus what your friends have, and you may think, man, if I just had what they have, if I just had a car, then I would be happier, I would have more joy, I would have more freedom. And you make these comparisons that in this case are truly based in worry. Like, you're worried about not having freedom. You're worried about not having joy. You're worried about not having happiness because of what you don't have through the comparisons that you're making to other people. And so I want you to think for a second, what worries you? When you're in bed at night, the lights are off, you've put the phone down, what is keeping you up at night? Because that might give you a clue as to what you are worried about. And here's the thing, here's why worry is such a bad thing, and here's why we're talking about it today, is because worry ultimately is based in a lack of trust in God. No matter what it is that you worry about, some things that we think to take, like, yeah, that makes sense that we're worried about it, and some things might, in the grand scheme of things, feel a little bit smaller, but every worry that we have is based in a lack of trust in God. But here's the thing, Jesus knows that, and Jesus, back in Matthew chapter 6, talking to his disciples, knows that worry is based in a lack of trust to God. And I think he says this in a way to try to be a little bit of like a healthy conviction, but also to reaffirm and encourage his disciples and the people following him that, hey, God knows you and he cares about you. This is what Jesus has to say about worry in Matthew chapter 6, verses 26 and 27. Look at the birds of the air. They do not sow or reap or store away in barns, and yet your heavenly Father feeds them. Are you not much more valuable than they? Can any one of you, by worrying, add a single hour to your life? Now, you and I know birds don't store up food. They don't have refrigerators. They don't have pantries. They don't store up food, but they go out to get food every single day. They have to rely on food being out there, being in the space that they're flying, being in the space that they're living in order for them to eat and to survive and continue to move on. And Jesus says that it's God that does that for them. God knows the birds. He cares for the birds. He provides for the birds, and he loves the birds. And that's why they are cared for and they don't have to worry. And then Jesus says, how much more valuable are you to God than a bird? And students, that's so true, that God, and he knows you. He cares about you. He loves you. He can provide for you, and he is always working for your good. And students, that's why we can trust in him, and that's why we can not worry, knowing that all of these statements happen to be true about God. And so we know that they're true, but my question for you is, where do you have a lack of trust in God? What things are causing you to worry? And I'll encourage you to begin to unpack that and begin to dive deeper into that in your home group conversations, to really unpack, like, where is this really focused in a lack of trust in God? And begin to unpack that, because students, I believe with all of my heart that God knows you, that he loves you, that he cares about you, that he's always working for your good. And so students, let's talk about it. Let's talk about worry so that we can learn how we can more fully trust God and live the life that he has planned for us.